Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. We've got so much stuff to get to. Very special night tonight. So special. I'm busting out in the Blantons. And one of my kids yesterday told me that he made me some football ice cubes, if you can see this. So he wanted to make sure on the show tonight that I used his football ice cube. So, Corey, there you go, buddy.
How about that?
Yeah.
Hey, Corey.
So, my kids do love me. See? Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Yeah, I just drink my Coke Zero, I guess. I don't have anything that good. Oh, man.
So, guys, we got a ton of stuff to get to tonight, an absolute ton of stuff going on the agenda tonight. But let's start off with right now we're at 15 ducks for the duck race. Great charity tonight. We'll be talking to the one of the members of that charity, Janine Feldkamp. We're hoping she can dial in and spend a couple minutes with us. Yep, she's in the room already. So we're at 15 ducks. We usually try to get to at least 20 ducks. So we're going to kind of hold off on that. So as you're in the room on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, go ahead and let us know if you want a duck. Tell us. I know that you guys will go make your donation and send us that direct message with the showing a screenshot of that donation. So we're at 15 ducks right now. If we could make sure we get at least 5 more. So go out and buy a duck if you can. We're going to hold off on doing the duck race until maybe another 15, 20 minutes and try to get to at least our 20 duck goal that we normally get to. So we'll talk about the ducks and just another update on Troy Richards, the diehard Bengals fan, still in the hospital, but it sounds like he's gradually getting better, guys. Just to keep him in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this.
Great news on that front. But going back to the duck race, continue prayers, Troy, that everything gets put behind you, and better news than last week. So appreciate everyone that's giving thoughts and prayers to Troy. But Jimmie, if you don't mind, tell everybody where they can find that link for the duck race.
Yeah. So on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram right now, we have the link towards the top of our feed. So basically what we ask you to do is go on there, click on that link for the charity. Basically go on and make a donation, take a screenshot of the receipt after you make that $25 donation, and just direct message us. John Strasser, I know John. John's good for it. Just John, we're up to 16 ducks right now. There's a link in our feed.
I put the link in the chat as well, guys, just so people can see it.
Yep. So we're up to 16, man. Let's get to that 20 number here. So we'll come back on companions on a journey here. We'll have Janine come on here in a little bit. So Janine, if you could hold tight in that waiting room for us, we'd appreciate it. We're up to 16. We're trying to get to that 20 number, which we normally get to. So I didn't get started until late yesterday on that. So
giving a thumbs up, so she's good.
Yep. Good. So a lot of things to talk about, guys. Keep your Troy in your thought and your prayers. Also next week, we're also going to have a couple quick guests on. We got Sean Moore, Houday Baby, as most people know him by. He will be coming on for a few minutes next week with us. Lives in the Tampa Bay area. Really good guy. He was voted based on some submission. He'll give us the details on it next week. But the NFL Bengals Fan of the Year, and if you saw some of his social media posts, he literally got a package in the mail from the Bengals and the NFL with his jersey, and it says NFL Fan of the Year in the back. And if you've ever met Sean's a good guy. He doesn't care about anything that's going on out there. He's the same guy no matter what, man. So we'll have fun bringing Sean on next week. Also,
the face paint guaranteed for.
Oh, you know what? I didn't. You know what? We'll have to ask him to do that just for the show. I said 4 or 5 minutes or something like that. I'm sure he'll get his half an hour face paint in for a 4 or 5 minute show. So we'll see what Sean does with that. Also, a good friend of mine, actually, John is in the chat area right now, and he's not a usual viewer of the show, but he hooked us up with, if you remember, I think it was 2005, TJ Husmanzada was cleaning his shoes at the end of the game with a terrible towel in the tunnel. There is a unbelievable story behind this that you're going to want to hear. I'd never heard this story before. So we actually have the fan that was sitting in the stands. That was his towel. We'll talk next week. We'll have that fan on from Pittsburgh, who actually lives in Vegas now. We'll have him come on and tell us a story about that TJ Hushman, that terrible towel Steelers fan. So that'll be fun next week as well. And I guess one of the bigger announcement, guys, we have a huge Super Bowl special coming up, Super Bowl 16 special coming up on February 2nd, the week before Super Bowl, the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. Guys, I cannot begin to tell you how crazy this is. We have the following guest on for our Super Bowl special that evening. Chris Collinsworth will be here with us. Kenny the Goat Anderson will be here with us. Dave Lapham, Pete Johnson, Reggie Williams, Gary Burley, Pat McAnally. Guys,
and then we're just going to stop the. We're just going to stop in the show after that. I think.
Drop a mic after that.
We're just done.
Yeah. So we're still kind of going through the format for that night. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have them just talk about the 1981 Super Bowl season and literally put them all on the screen. We're going to throw some videos. We're going to give them each topics to kind of hit on, but basically just let them sit there and BS with themselves, right, James?
And we're going to step aside. Yeah, our ugly faces aren't going to be on the camera. We're going to let them talk, and I think you're going to see some cool banter back and forth between them. As Jimmie said, we'll show some highlights, and as we've done all season with a lot of these guests, Jimmie will show a clip, and there's always some interesting tidbits that they provide as part of the play. Hey, that was supposed to be a run, the audible to a pass. I wasn't supposed to get the ball in the play. It was supposed to go to Isaac Curtis. So I think we're going to see that and more, plus the cool interaction between the Bengal greats that you just mentioned. It's going to be a fun night, and leading up to the Super Bowl, looking forward to it for sure.
Okay, hold on, guys, real quick, just to let you know, I'm getting a text message right now. We had somebody just buy 4 ducks. So John just brought one. We had somebody else just buy 4 ducks. So we'll let this go a little bit longer, guys. If you want a duck, let us know in the chat area right now. We'll hold you to that. You go to that charity and that we have those links out there and get that donation made. But
exciting. Yeah, we appreciate everyone that's donated. It's been great all year. We're starting off 2021 great. We had a great response last week. And what jersey did they take last week, Jimmie? Kenny Anderson one, right?
Yeah, actually, the person who won the jersey last week. I'm sorry, I'm typing on another screen right now. If you don't, it's my eyes. But basically, that person who won it, I don't have his name in front of me. But we raised $777 for the Ken Anderson Alliance, and he just so happened to live in England. And the shipping cost was pretty significant. I didn't even ask him to pay the shipping cost. He PayPal'd me the shipping cost to make sure he got that. How cool is that?
777. That's a good number to start the year. So hopefully the charity money will keep rolling in. Another great charity tonight. Before we forget, we want to welcome our friends from Houday Nation on. Great, just a great partnership. We appreciate everything they do. Josh and the team over there does a tremendous job. So if you haven't checked them out on Facebook, certainly do so, and appreciate all the support that they offer.
All right. So Sean Moore is in our chat area. I think he's on a Facebook chat. Can you pull his comment up there? I think, again, we've got 3 different tech streams coming on here. So you guys might, depending on what format you're in. So yeah, Sean, that Houday guy, he's a pretty good guy, Sean. You're going to like him. But Sean, we're trying to ask a favor. If you could put the face paint on for that 4-minute special that we have for you next week, we'd love that. So,
and then we need all those prizes that you did videos of unpacking for a little show and tell. Not that the half-eaten Snickers bars or any of that stuff that you pick out, but all that other cool swag. That'll be fun.
Well, let's keep the Ducks thing going, guys. Let us know if you want one. We're going to hold off a little bit longer. We're going to go to the Jimmies here in a second, and then do the Duck races before Jay comes on from the Athletics. So one more thing before we get to the inaugural Jimmies, but on top of that Super Bowl special did I mention it was Chris Collinsworth, Ken Anderson, Dave Lapham, Reggie Williams, Gary Burley, Pat McAnally, Pete Johnson. I can't believe all these guys are coming on. Really excited about it. These guys are excited about it as well. On top of that, we're going to kind of take we're going to probably do the largest short period of time charity fundraiser we've ever done. We're going to try to sell 100 squares for the Super Bowl. We got a process we're setting up right now. We're going to sell 100 squares, and the charity that we're going to be focusing on that week for the Super Bowl special is going to be the Anthony Munoz Foundation. Okay, we did a little bit of stuff with him earlier. We needed to do more. So basically 100 squares at $10 a pop. Everybody's eligible. Buy as many as you want. just stay tuned. We're going to have a process set up to where you can just click on a square, donate to the foundation, and your square will be updated, and we'll kind of share that on social media. But $1,000 we're trying to raise for the Anthony Munoz Foundation. So
okay, I want in on the squares.
yeah, that's a good point.
Squares. We're allowed to buy squares because it's completely random.
So there's going to be 4 prizes for this, guys. We have some significant prizes being donated. We've got, I'm not going to tell you what they are right now, but there's going to be 4 of them, 1 for each quarter. Okay. And James, Jamie, Tom, that's in the room, probably, we're all eligible for this. This is total random. I'm probably going to buy 5 squares minimum in that one. So we're going to try to sell 100 of these. So to kind of give you an idea of that Super Bowl special, we're going to try to sell 100 squares at $10 a pop. And all that money is going to go to the Anthony Munoz Foundation. So we're going to somehow figure out a way to link the donations directly to the Munoz Foundation and still track those squares. So we're figuring that out right now. Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify, our duck races are completely random as well, but we don't go in the duck races just because it's something we like to do live on the show. It'd be kind of weird if we're announcing cheering our own duck to win. But the Super Bowl players, everyone sees the numbers before kickoff. It's completely random. So we're going to.
Yep.
If I win, I'll be very happy. Let's go.
All right, so guys, there's a couple other things we want to talk about here before Jay comes on at 8:30. But do we want to get into the Nickelodeon conversation, James? I think that's probably a good thing to hit on right now.
It was, and everybody's seen my son Cannon, who's make a little pop up next to my desk here and make an appearance. Who's, despite coming to the tailgates and having fun, just really isn't a football, but saw the commercial for the Nickelodeon game, which was Sunday at 4, the Saints-Bears game, and was excited. I think this is a smart move by the NFL to try to get the youth involved. Obviously, they have the Play 60 initiative and other things going on. And there were some cool aspects to it. They had, it was a Nate Burleson, former wide receiver, on, along with some Nickelodeon celebrities that I wasn't familiar with. I'm sure a lot of the younger kids were, and they really did a good job. I think for the first game, they did great. They had a young kid talking about what the penalties were. When they kicked a field goal, SpongeBob was between the uprights. When they scored a touchdown in the end zone, they called it the slime zone, and slime shot everywhere. The 10-yard marker for first down was dripping with slime. So they did a first job. I think they can certainly add more effects, which would keep the kids engaged even more. But for the first time out, I think the NFL's onto something. Looking forward to 2021, maybe do 1 game every week. And they also aired the game on CBS. So if you were a Saints fan, you didn't have to watch the kids version. You could watch the regular version. And it was pretty cool. So kudos to the NFL for doing this. I know I got my non-football son excited in it, and I think you've got some clips to show, Jamie.
Yeah, it's about 1:30, just a couple compilation clips of what it looked like for those who didn't watch it on
touchdown today. Breeze over the middle. It's Thomas. He dances his way into the end zone. First.
There we go with the slime cannons. Hey, that is epic.
Santos has made 25 straight.
I love the SpongeBob.
This one is up. It's on the way, and it is good. Cairo Santos make it
full start.
And it is.
Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
A false start. That's when an offensive player illegally moves after lining up for, but prior to, the snap. Like when my dad starts shoveling in dinner before mom says grace.
Yes. Dalton coming clutch. 15th play of the drive. Breeze, hand it off. Kamara plunging forward. End zone and touchdown.
Hey, there's the slide.
This is one of my favorites right here. This is the tone. Oh, seriously, where are you going to get that other than Nickelodeon? That was the coolest thing ever.
I'm Sean Payton, head coach of the Marines, and I'm about ready to get slimed after our super wild card win on Nickelodeon this weekend. Ah! Man. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, guys.
They did talk about that before. That's the first time I've seen Sean Payton get slime, but just cool. As I said, I think for the first time out, they did a great job. Novel idea, get more kids involved, and kudos to the NFL and Nickelodeon for making that happen.
Yeah, I mean that was cool, man. That was cool stuff. Matter of fact, next football game, I think I might watch that instead of the actual broadcast.
It might have made some of the games a little more entertaining.
Yeah. Give everybody an update. We are up to 21 ducks right now, which is $550. I'm getting messages all over the place, not just in our chat area. Michael Sayer just bought two squares, so everybody's now sending me those messages. And Thomas is the one. Tom Reedy here is the one who put us in, who donated the football that is being given away tonight to the winner, the autographed football. Tom is the one who put us on for this charity, the Companions on a Journey charity. So Thomas, we appreciate you, buddy, man, and it is so cool to meet people like you through this platform, and we got a lot of stuff geared up for 2021, and Tom's going to be included in some of that as well. So we're going to wait a couple more seconds here, guys. Let's continue that Nickelodeon thing. So that's a great thing, James, for them to do.
It was. I mean, it kept my son engaged, and then and for the halftime show, they released some SpongeBob special that hadn't aired before. So they thought about it. Like I said, I think it's the start of something cool, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. One game a week in 2021. Tom, did you get a chance to watch any of it?
I watched the main broadcast. I did switch over a couple of times. I saw the slime cannons. I sent Jimmie a text right away. I know those will be in the south end zone of PBS come the fall. Right where he is. But I think it's really smart on the NFL's part to just like for your son, plant the seeds of the next generation of fans.
Yep.
And it was very well done.
Yep. Jamie,
I saw a clip on Barstool Sports of a guy who lost a big bet going nuts, but it was on the Nickelodeon feed. I can't get it out of my head. Field goal.
Now, wasn't there an F-bomb drop somewhere at some point during the Nickelodeon?
I heard about it.
They probably hear worse from their mom and dad. So
or on the playground. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and do this. We're at 21 ducks right now. And you still have an opportunity. You still have a couple more minutes. If you need a duck, you want a duck, get in on this thing. This football is outstanding. There's 5 or 6 autographs on it. There's pictures all over the place. So let's go ahead and bring on Janine Feldkamp, if we could, from the charity here that we're working with this week. Janine, how you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate this. This is exciting.
No, we appreciate it. So, hey, welcome to the show. We would like you, because to be honest, I remember the first time Tom talked to me about it. About a month or so ago, we had another fundraiser for another charity. He was telling me about it, and I was trying to get my head around it. I was on the website after we talked again earlier this week with Thomas, and Companions on a Journey. This is a really, really neat thing, and definitely a local charity here in Cincinnati that does a lot of great work. So can you share with our viewers right now, Janine, exactly what you guys are doing to help people?
Sure. And Jimmie, I just want to also extend my condolences to you on the loss of your Uncle Jim. Tom was sharing that with me. And coming into this new year, that's something that can be so difficult when we start a new year, missing someone that we really loved who meant the world to us. And that's why Companions on a Journey is here. It was founded out of the loss of Sheila Monifaux. Her husband died at an early age, and she had 3 young boys. She found her passion. She found her mission after that. And what Companions on a Journey does here in Cincinnati is we provide grief support to children, families, adults, anyone who is grieving the loss of someone that's really important to them. And the work we do is really heavy work, but it's also very hopeful work. And that's why I got involved, and I am just so touched every day. The people that we work with and that get involved, people that have gone through grief, understand that life is about the people and not the stuff. And there's a lot of great stuff in this world. There's a lot of great people, but when the stuff is gone, that's okay. It's the people that we miss the most. So we just try and help people find a new balance, find their normal. There is a process to grief. I never knew that. And like I was sharing with you, Jim, one of the things about our organization is there are so many incredible nonprofits, and the work that you guys are doing to raise money for so many is incredible. The thing that makes our little piece of the world unique, if you will, is that grief is not unique to anyone. It's going to be touching all of us at some point. So as parents, if we learn how to deal with grief and help our children, if we're children and we're dealing with, unfortunately, the loss of a parent, We help you realize that and how to deal with that kind of grief, how to just continue to walk and know that there is hope. One of the things we do to celebrate is we have different healing events. And one of our big events, I am going to take the opportunity to share with you, is our COJ Celebrity Golf Classic outing. It's basically a celebration of life because, like I said, there's still a lot of hope in what we do, even though it's heavy. So we invite people to come out, play golf for the day, have a great time out there on the course, and honor the people that you love and help live their legacy, help share their story, help let people know who they were, who they meant to you, and have a great time. And we do what you guys do. We get together with a bunch of friends, we give away a lot of stuff, we have a great time, and we raise a lot of money so that the organization can keep doing what they do, being there for people when they need us most.
Jenny, so help us, what was mind-boggling to me, and I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here a little bit. I could pull up the website, but throw out some of the statistics that I was reading on the website.
Oh my God.
Pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, that's the thing that really people don't realize. Right here in Cincinnati, in the 6 counties that we serve around the greater Cincinnati area, there are over 40,000 children and young adults who have already lost at least one parent. So there's already over 40,000 young people grieving the loss of a parent. And that doesn't include all of the other losses they might have: a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a best friend, a neighbor, a coach, someone that they admire, a sports figure. That's grief too that we suffer. 1 in 11 children in Ohio will experience that death of a sibling by the time they're 18. And by the time they reach 25, it doubles. And in all the states in the U.S., Ohio ranks 8th, is the highest state of the percentage of youth that will lose a parent by their 18th birthday.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that doesn't include all the adults, guys. I mean, all of us, we've all had, like yourself, I mean, we've all experienced grief, and it's never easy. It's never expected. If it is expected, it's still a process you have to go through. And so many of us, when we were growing up, you didn't talk about it, especially if you were a child, because children's grief looks different. We think they're resilient, they can handle it, just keep on going. They need to handle it too. If somebody was worth loving, they're worth grieving. So you have to give yourself some time to do that.
Well, Jenny, hey, we appreciate you being on. I just want to let you know our final total here was 23 ducks being purchased, which is $575 for the foundation. I'm getting a bunch of messages now. People are on the website right now making their donations. So we appreciate everything, and we hope that money helps you guys in some way, shape, or form.
That $500 helps support one group in a school. So that helps. Every $25 duck helps. That it really does. So thank you guys for everything. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks to Tom for getting us linked up.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm going to be back on the Super Bowl, and it's our 7th golf outing. So I'm going to go for a 7-7-7 somewhere along the way too.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Thanks a lot, Janine.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's guys. I just put in a message there. That's the football that Thomas gave us, and if you can see some of the can you put that back up? I'm sorry. Some of the names that are on this football are it looks like Dave Lapham, Anthony Munoz, David Fulcher, obviously Solomon Wilcox, and Jim Breach. Big names, Cincinnati football legends, right there, guys. So so 23 names. That's $575. Last week was $777 for the Ken Anderson Alliance. Just make sure I have that count right. I think I counted 23 names.
23. Yep.
Okay, guys. James, go ahead and start the roll on this thing, brother.
Oh, let's do it. I don't remember what number won last week. Oh, go ahead.
No. So everybody that's viewing the duck race right now, we want you to call the race, right? Just put whoever you think is going to win this race, number 1 through 23 duck. Go ahead and put your number in the chat area here. Let's see who can get this right. I've got number 11. 11 every week's for me because that's my number.
I'm going lucky number 13.
That's my number. You can't take that. All right, I'll go 23 out of is that considered what's the inside called at a horse race? The post?
Hey, Tom, what do you got?
I'll go 7.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
And again, just thank you to everybody that donated. Another great charity, and we appreciate everybody that contributes. Duck 12, that's our winner from last week.
Remember, it's not good to be out front this early.
You don't want to be leading the pack. You want to be at the very back.
Ooh.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Next time you have Dan Hort on, you think we could have him do the play-by-play for this?
Yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Craig, who made our top 5 moments of 2020, poked his nose out there. Now he's too much bourbon. He fell to the back.
Duck number 5 is consistent, at least.
Yeah, Scott Miller. Scott Miller lives in the Mason area. I don't know if Mason still has a football team or not, but
last night.
Look how this is tight. Oh, there's 11. Go.
Down the stretch they come.
Paul Blanton. 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Blanton.
There you go.
Congratulations, Paul. Man, look, I don't know what kind of duck that is. What is he got? Is that like a pirate hat? What is
got
that?
a bandana on.
Sleepy duck?
No, hey, look, we appreciate everybody. And sorry, I really got off to a late start yesterday with this. Usually you need 2 full, complete days to get to that 20 to 30 number, but you guys really came through. It means a lot. So I can't do the math really fast, but whatever, $777 plus $575 in 2 weeks this year. So last week we finished over $10,000 in charities, donations to charities already this year, off to a really good start. So we appreciate everybody. And you heard Janine, these foundations, guys, these foundations are very appreciative of everything you guys do for them.
1352 if my private school math is correct.
Yeah. Do we got any parochial kids on? Did you go to parochial school, Tom? Because I'm a public school kid. I can't do the math.
School kid, went to a public college, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm public school. I'm not good at science.
Oh, geez, Peace.
So 1352 in the first 2 weeks. So
that's
awesome job.
Just awesome. That's awesome. So I know is Jay in the room yet?
He is.
Okay. See if Jay's
stepped away for a minute, but he'll be back.
Okay, let's kind of send him a message. But James, let's go ahead and get to.
Do you want to get
the inaugural? Let's do it now. Let's do. Or do
Well,
you want to wait?
Give me one. It looks like
Jay running back to the screen.
Yeah.
I
think
do you want to do the Jimmies first, or we want to
no,
get Jay?
Let's get Jay on. We'll do the Jimmies after.
You guys, look. Make sure you hang around for the Jimmies. There's some great stuff you guys are going to see on this. But let's bring in my man. This is my man right here. Let's bring in Jay if he's ready.
All right, here we go.
Jay, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, great. How are you guys?
Good. Hey, so just an introduction here real quick for Jay. The Athletics first-round draft pick out of OU, Jay Morrison here. And if you guys don't subscribe to The Athletic and follow this guy and read his articles, I'm telling you, you're missing out on a lot of stuff, man. Not just his social media follows, but just subscribing to The Athletic. Jay, we really appreciate you coming on. You do some great stuff, and we're here to pick your brain, buddy. Right now we have a live feed going to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and we got a lot of football to talk, brother. So we appreciate you being with us.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Yeah, brother. First round for draft pick. I know Paul Dehner's going to be upset about that. He was probably a 3rd round pick, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I actually did join before him. Our first round pick would be John Greenberg. He was one of the first athletic reporters ever when they started in Chicago. He's a great writer, also an OU grad, a little younger than me, just like Paul. But yeah, I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. We love you, man. We love you following you. So let's get right into it, man. I mean, you were at the press conference today?
Yeah, it was on Zoom. So yeah.
I'm sorry, you were able to get. So let's talk about. You know what? I'm gonna start with something. We're gonna have everybody here provide some questions for you, but I really want to start with your article from yesterday, Jay, on The Athletic. You wrote an article on Frank Pollock, a new offensive line coach, and man, there seems to be some serious excitement from the players about this signing. What's your take on that?
I think that's huge, and I think it's genuine. Billy Price was very excited when I called him. On the press release, they had a quote from Trey Hopkins. They had one from Joe Mixon. They were both very excited. But you always wonder when it's in a press release if it's, if it's kind of dressed up a little bit. But talking, actually, when I texted Billy, I told him I thought this was going to happen, and I said, when it does, can I call you? And he said, absolutely. And then when it did happen, he was driving. He said, I am so fired up. He's like, I can't wait to talk to you about this. And when he finally got where he was going, it was a Saturday night when this happens. This doesn't normally happen, but I had to pull over. I was in a BW3's parking lot interviewing him, and I don't know where he was, somewhere in Texas. He had pulled over after running his errands, and he's just very excited to get Frank back. Frank was a big reason Billy's here. He was the offensive line coach 1 year in 2018, and you guys all know how involved the coaches are in the scouting of players, more so than at other franchises, other teams. And Billy's got a real opportunity here. Trey Hopkins tore his ACL. It's doubtful he's going to be ready for the start of the season. And just the way that everywhere Frank has been, his run game has been really good. And I think a lot of it is what Frank brings, and I think a lot of what was driving the enthusiasm was what wasn't said, and it was, not necessarily an indictment on Jim Turner, but I just think his tenure here had run its course, and the players were a little over that military Marine style where he's in your face every single day. That works at the college level because it's what they expect at that level. But when you're a professional grown man, that can grate on you. And I think that's what happened with Jim and the players here.
Yeah. So help me understand. So the title was interesting to me. So they literally gave him the title offensive line coach and run game coordinator, correct?
Yes. That's a first for him. He admitted, but it's generally the offensive line coach is very involved in putting the run game together. But he said, it's just a title. He didn't, indicate that it was something he lobbied for, and it wasn't something that comes with extra money or anything like that. But it does look good on a resume, and it's something that, he's not going to have final say, but he's going to have a big say in who they hire as a running backs coach to replace Jamal Singleton. So I think it was a rocky start to the relationship here. When Zach came in 2019, Frank was under contract, and the front office wanted Frank to stick around. Zach was kind of in the thanks but no thanks. Jim Turner's my guy. I know him well. He knows me well. He knows the system I want to run. And it wasn't a slight on Frank. It's just that happens. A head coach comes in and he wants to surround himself with his guys. I asked Frank about that. I said, were there any conversations at all? And he said no, that his interview this past Thursday was the first time he talked to Zach, and he's really impressed with him. So I think there's good reason for the excitement here. I don't think any of it's manufactured or false. I think a lot the coaching staff, when I talked to Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator, he said their goal was to get Frank in for an interview and not let him leave without giving him the job. And they didn't do that. They brought guys in on Thursday and Friday, and then they wanted to kind of go over what they had talked to the guy, Hank Fraley from Detroit, Philip Rauscher, the assistant line coach in Minnesota. They wanted to kind of go over what they had heard in the interviews, and then they ultimately decided to offer Frank on Saturday. He accepted, and they sent the release out Saturday night and ruined all of our Saturday nights.
Well, I mean, so one player that should be damn excited about is Joe Burrow, which it sounds like he is. So the press conference today, Joe Burrow was talking about his knee rehab, and in his mind, he looks like he's ahead of schedule and he's ready to go, targeting opening day for this season, upcoming season.
Yeah, and I think any player is going to say that, but that's what the doctors have said. The doctors have pointed to that being a very real possibility that he could be ready. The injury and what is scheduled to be the opening Sunday of the NFL season are exactly 9 months apart. So that puts him right in that window where he could be ready. I asked him today, if the league gets back to normal and there is a preseason, would he move up his goal and want to play in the preseason? Because when guys come back from ACLs, it's a lot of it's mental. You need to, especially for a quarterback, running back's a little more because he's cutting and planning, and he kind of gets that in practice. But quarterbacks don't get touched. They don't have the traffic around them in practice, and just to have bodies down around your knees, I think it's going to be a little jarring for Joe in the opener. But he said no, he's no interest in playing in the preseason. He'll get comfortable in practice with those reps, and his goal is to be ready to go out there week one on that Sunday, whoever they end up playing. I'm really looking forward to this schedule release. I think this is going to be
wait.
Yeah, this is going to be a really I mean, for any of you guys, I know Jim, you do, but if you other guys travel, what a great road.
We're already like Vegas, Chicago, Detroit. We're there, man. So
San Francisco, which isn't officially on the schedule, but it looks like if they go to a 17-game season, that's going to be on there. New York is always great. Denver.
Denver's awesome.
There's some great road trips.
The goal, we're hitting every game next year. Home and away. That's what we're doing. So
even Detroit.
Yeah, even Detroit. So let's.
I like Detroit a lot. I really do like that city.
Detroit's great. I have a fun time every time we go up there. So I know some of the guys. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I'm saying all this travel is in Canadian dollars for me. This is going to be expensive.
So Jay, that's what I wanted to do real quick. So Jamie is from Brantford, Ontario, up in Canada, and this is not Jim Turner's gone. That's not his real name. That is James from the Indianapolis or Brownsburg area. But just wanted to introduce you to the guys on the screen here.
Yeah, good seeing you guys.
Jay, thank you for joining us. If you were here last week, my signature said, "Why is Lou still here?" So if you read between the lines, you're going to realize that I'm not a big fan of some of these current coaches and anybody that watches the show. So with that being said, was there any serious consideration given to replacing that defensive coordinator position with Lou at the helm? And at the end of the day, was that a decision that Mike kind of relayed down to Zach with some pressure, or did everybody was in agreement, hey, we're going to bring the band back together?
No, from what I understand, this was Zach's choice. I do think it was something he was weighing, as early December. And then, they started playing well. It was really a weird season. It would seem like they were getting better in some areas and they would dip in other areas. And it was up and down all over the place. I think the wins, the win against Pittsburgh, the win against the Texans, even though it wasn't a great defensive performance, I think that really kind of helped show Zach that this they can win with this defense, that he knows, and he's stood up for Lou. Lou brings this up all the time too, and then he follows it with, it's not an excuse, but it is an excuse, that he was coaching with one hand behind his back this year. You look at all those guys that he never had Trey Waynes for a single game. He got DJ Reader for 5 or 4 and part of a 5th. They lost Sam Hubbard for 3. The defense never looked like it was supposed to look. And that it's a next man up league. You hear that all the time, but everybody knows this wasn't a deep roster, and they couldn't afford to have injuries like that and not miss a beat. And so I think that's part of it. And I think the other part is, what's plan B? Because who are you going to get to come in here when they know that the coach is on the hot seat, that it's a franchise that hasn't won in forever? You're not going to get like a Wade Phillips type, an established guy. There's no way they're going to come in. And a young up and comer, he might be looking at it as, well, if they do get rid of Zach midseason, maybe it's a chance for me to step into make that leap to a head coaching role. But that's not going to happen either, because if Zach gets off to a slow start next year and they let him go, Darren Simmons is going to be the guy that takes over this team. So it's just it was kind of like the end of the Marvin tenure, where the devil is better than the devil you don't know. And I think Zach just felt more comfortable sticking with Lou. I think he believes in Lou, and that was a part of it. But I think there's also something to the fact of, what's the alternative? You're going to get another guy to come in and teach all these guys who they had Terrell Austin, and then Lou, they had Marvin for a few games after they fired Terrell Austin. You're going to be constantly switching schemes and systems and terminology. I just think they thought it was better to stay the course and give Lou one more chance, which Zach's going to sink or swim with him. I mean, it's his decision, and it could turn out great, or it could have him on the unemployment line.
We want to remind everybody there's a lot of questions in the chat for Jay. Be sure to submit those. Jamie's going to read those off. A couple more of the openings on the position coaches. We saw the name on the defensive line. Anybody we should be watching for some of the other openings? You alluded to the running back coach earlier. We know D-line's open. Some of those other opportunities available.
Yeah, well, we know Troy Walters is going to be the wide receivers coach. He was the assistant this past year, and they think he's ready to have his own room. He's 44, great receiver in his playing days. He's been in the league for a while, so they're going to go that direction. I thought it was really interesting this late firing of Doug Peterson. The quarterbacks coach in Philadelphia is Zach Taylor's brother, Press, and he's talked about how much he wants to coach with him. But, as always is the case, it doesn't seem like the timing's right. They really like Dan Pitcher a lot, and I can't see them bringing Press in. They would almost have to kind of create a spot for him. And I've even our colleagues in Philadelphia had this exhaustive list of 52 candidates to be the next Eagles head coach, and they had Press Taylor on there. That he's possibility that he could be promoted to that. I don't think he's still young. I don't know that's going to be the case, but I thought that was an interesting name, just knowing that this team has openings. The defensive line, there was a report that floated out today, and the guy's name,
Andre Carter, I believe.
Andre Carter, yes, it was escaping me. He worked with Lou and Zach in Miami, but he was also the Jets defensive line coach the last 2 years. So Frank Pollock knows him very well, offensive line coach against defensive line coach. So those ties kind of make sense too. I don't know. I haven't really checked in with those guys to see kind of what they were thinking. Everything was focused on offensive line, and they said once they got that out of the way, the other dominoes would start falling. So I can't give you any other hot names for the defensive line coach. But I think that will be the next one that they fill, and then they'll start moving forward with Frank and finding a running backs coach. And
Jay, just to let you know, I'm giving you some breaking news. You can break this later on Twitter, but
okay.
I do have an interview at 7 a.m. in the morning with the Eagles virtual. So I got my little Cardinals football playoff book, my playbook ready to go. Dude, I'm going to get hired. I'm just telling you, I'm going to wear my Bengals stuff on the sideline.
The Athletic dropped the ball. It should have been 53 candidates.
See?
We have the Jimmie.
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff in the chat area here, guys. Jamie, you want to go to the chat?
The viewer questions. Quick question for you, Jay. Zach Taylor next season. Is it a short leash or a long leash?
I think it's short, and it's got to be. I guess this kind of goes with being short, but I think he's got to win. He's got to come out of the gate fast.
Yeah.
1-3 could do him in. 1-4 most certainly would. 0-4 would. I think. Maybe he survives 1-3. You gotta have to wait and see what that schedule looks like. If they've got a murderer's row right out the bat in September, maybe he gets a little more leash. But yeah, he's gonna have to start fast. Especially with you got a new line coach. Presumably you're going to have all these guys back. There's always a chance there's going to be injuries in training camp, but getting Joe Burrow back, getting Joe Mixon back, Trey Waynes, Jonah Williams, all these guys that missed all these games, DJ Reader, if they go into the season healthy, he better start at least 2-2.
Yeah, I mean they're not waiting 4.5 years like they did with Shula on this.
No,
this is next year's his do or die, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Our buddy Josh from Houday Nation. It's a ways away, but who do you see the Bengals targeting with their fifth pick?
I'm not convinced they're going to use that fifth pick. I wouldn't be surprised to see them trade back.
If what happens, what do they? I mean, if Sewell doesn't drop, they trade back. What are you thinking?
I think it's more dependent on what they're able to accomplish in free agency as opposed to what the four players that go ahead of them in the draft. I don't know that they're sold on Sewell. He looks great, but he didn't play this year. So all the film you're watching of him, he's 19 years old, and there are no elite edge rushers in the Pac-12. You can go back through the last few drafts. That conference just doesn't produce great edge rushers. And that doesn't mean that Penei Sewell can't be a great tackle, but it has to be in the back of your mind. So I think they are going to get a starting tackle and a starting guard in free agency. I think we're going to see him be aggressive again and spend. You're going to possibly have some money freed up by cutting Geno Atkins. I'm not reporting that. I think there's a good chance of that. I don't think a decision's been made yet. A lot of that's going to depend on how he comes out of this surgery, what the medicals look like. But they're going to try to sign Carl Lawson and William Jackson. If they don't end up signing either one of those guys, then all of a sudden you got a bunch more money to play with. So I do think that is going to be the focus. It's funny because they've never been super active in free agency, yet their philosophy is a free agent, you know what you're getting, as opposed to a draft pick is always a gamble. No matter, even if he looks like a generational talent like Penei Sewell, you never know how the transition is going to go from college to pro. So I could see them doing that, loading up on the offensive line, and you figure three of the first four picks are quarterbacks. You can either have Penei Sewell or you can have Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith, whichever of the wide receivers isn't that other top 4 pick. There's a lot of options there, and that means there's going to be a lot of teams wanting to trade up.
Yeah.
I don't think they would go trade back farther than maybe 9 or 10, but if you can get an extra third or a third and a fourth, I don't have the chart in front of me that adds up what the value is for those picks, but I definitely think that would be in play for them to trade back if there's a lot of interest in Penei Sewell and they fill that offensive line need in free agency.
That must have been pretty fun for you last season when the Bengals made some splashes in free agency. I don't think you're used to covering that, right?
It was crazy. And then you think they're done, and then they get Von Bell. I mean, he was like the end of the run. It was I did think from talking to them that it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be to that extent, right? That it was just guy after guy. And really, we all thought linebacker was going to be the main focus. And Kwiatkowski and the guy from Cleveland, his name's escaping me right now, Joe Schobert. I think that they were really interested in those guys, and then they just blew the market out of the water. They got so much money, and they pivoted a little bit. They said that DJ Reader was their number one target all along, and I don't necessarily not believe it because of what their focus was to fix the worst run defense in the league, and he was certainly on his way to doing that. But I think that they had targeted linebacker much higher until they saw what they were going for, and then that's why we saw them take 3 linebackers with their 7 picks in the draft.
Yep. Okay, circling back on Frank, Anthony asks, Jay, what do you think will be the most obvious change Frank will show us?
That's a good question. I think the most obvious change is going to be something that you all and even we won't see, and that'll be the day-to-day interactions in meeting rooms and at practice. And I think it's not like it's going to be kid gloves, but it's just going to be a different coaching style, and I think that's going to be the biggest difference. Scheme wise, he does love the wide zone. I don't know that perfectly suits Joe Mixon. They kind of started running some more outside zone stuff this year when Joe went out, because Samaje Perine and Giovanni Bernard are much better outside than Joe is. Joe's a downhill, just hit the hole, get right up the middle. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And honestly, these all run together. I need to go back and watch some 2018 film and see what they were doing with Joe, why he succeeded so well. Career high in yards per carry, rushing touchdowns. I need to go back and watch and see how much of the wide zone they were using in 2018.
When you're talking to the team here, how excited are they about the future with these young stars that they got?
Well, I mean, they're thrilled with Joe Burrow. That's everything. And then T. Higgins proved he's a number 1 wide receiver. So right there's excitement with those guys. I think the jury's still out on the linebackers. They took the 3rd and 4th round last year, especially Akeem Davis-Gaither. He never really developed the way I think they wanted him to. Logan Wilson seemed to be coming on and playing well, and then had the injury that cost him the last few games. But yeah, they're still high on Jonah Williams, but he hasn't really developed the way they wanted to, and there again, that can be something where maybe that Frank is a little better at developing talent, whereas is better than Jim Turner. And then they're still high on Michael Jordan, even though he struggled this year. He's a baby in terms of NFL players. He was really young when he came out, and he's had 2 years in the league now. And they always talk about that light going on. It kind of went on for Fred Johnson this year. He was a guy that they really liked his talent, and he just made a lot of mistakes and in practice and in games. And all of a sudden at the end of the year, it seemed like, he kind of got his stuff together and he started playing a lot better. And I think they're counting on that with Michael Jordan too. We keep talking about going out and getting these pieces on the offensive line, but one of the answers could be on the roster right now if they can get Michael Jordan straightened out.
Yeah. One more question for you, Jay. AJ Green, has he played his last game as a Bengal?
Yeah. I think that was pretty amazing. I mean, they basically gave him a goodbye tribute video before the season ended. The Bengals social media. I don't know. I think it's right by your seats where you aren't you? And
yep.
It wasn't.
We got his shoe.
Oh, you did get one. Okay.
Our friend did next to us.
Did it hurt? Because it looked like it wasn't like here you go, like a play. I mean, it almost looked like there was some anger behind those tosses.
Yeah, he took like a 5-yard crow hop and just
yeah.
Maybe he wanted to make sure he got him up there, but it did. It looked like a frustrated throw. It wasn't the Corey Dillon take off the shoulder pads kind of thing, but it wasn't. It was. I don't know. It just. His body language as he was going off the field, and maybe it'd have been different if they won the game instead of getting blown out, but it looked like that was it. And I think we all kind of expected that even before that game happened.
Right. Well, look, Jay, it means a lot you coming on, and we got hundreds of people right now watching on all three social media platforms. But in closing on this, just an ideal free agency right now. Jay Morrison makes decision. He's the GM. What are a couple signings that you try to make in the offseason here, free agency before the draft?
Yeah, I mean, it might go against their philosophy, but Joe Thuney, the guard from the Patriots, he played in 3 Super Bowls his first 3 years in the league. He never missed a game. I don't think he ever missed a snap. Just a really quality player. He was a 4th-round pick at North Carolina State and just went in there and started right off the bat for a good Patriots team. He's from the area. He's from Dayton. He went to Kettering Alter. Talked to his parents quite a bit because every time they went to the Super Bowl, I would call his parents up and do stories when I was at the paper before I came to the Athletic. I think that he would be a really good fit, but we've seen this team. They don't like to pay guard. I mean, they let Kevin Zeitler walk.
Right.
They did pay Clint Bowling, but they got him at he got a second, I think even got a 3rd contract, but they kind of got him at, a lower rate. Joe Thuney's going to he's going to kind of set the market for guards this year. He is the prize piece, him and Brandon Scherf. But I still think if you're asking me, that would be the way to go. Just get a pro in here, a guy that's got rings, a guy that doesn't have any issues with injury, that he's just, if he's coming from that Patriot system, he's going to be all business-like. And then find a tackle. I don't know if you go top tier like a Trent Williams. I don't know if you can afford to go that high, but there's going to be some guys out there that are going to starting caliber tackles that you could get that can really give you some flexibility. Last thing you want to do is go into that draft having to get a tackle,
right?
Like having your hand forced where you have to get Penei Sewell. So those would be the 2 main things: get a tackle, get a guard, fill in some other pieces. And a lot of it just comes down to, I don't have any other names for you there, but
that's good. I mean, the last thing I would end with, if the Bengals if they can't sign both, they have to sign one of these 2 individuals, Jay, Lawson or Jackson. Who do they absolutely have to sign?
Yeah, I think it's Lawson. They had no pass rush this year, and you lose that guy, and then there's nobody. I mean, I think Sam Hubbard will play better, but you have to be able to get after the quarterback, and if I know Carl loves being a 3-down guy. I don't know that that's where he's best. If you can get another pass rusher and let Carl be a 3rd down, even maybe a 2nd and 3rd down guy to go after, he's going to have interest, but he's not going to have break the bank interest. I think William Jackson is a guy that there's teams out there that, even though he hasn't played like the first round pick that the Bengals made him, I think there's teams out there that say if we get him in our system and let him do what he does best, he can be a quarterback in the 14, 15 million a year range. I don't think the Bengals want to go more than 11 or 12. So it's basically just going to come down to what that market is. I seriously doubt they end up signing both. You get Trey Wayne's coming back. You got Mackenzie Alexander possibly re-signing. Darius Phillips really he played pretty well this year. And maybe you get a cornerback in that with that 37th pick, your second round pick. So I think Lawson's the guy if you have to pick between one of the two.
Well, hey, look, we appreciate it. So breaking news, and every guest we have on gives us breaking news. So tonight, what we heard from Jay was that the Bengals will sign Joe Thuney, Trent Williams, and re-sign Carl Lawson and William Jackson. So that will be all over our social media per Jay Morrison from The Athletic. Jay, look, man, we appreciate it. It means a lot, man. And we love following you. You do a great job, man. Keep doing what you're doing. If you need anything from us, just let us know, man. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, Jay.
Good day, buddy. See you, buddy.
It. Awesome.
Man, that was good stuff. Good insight there.
How come I'm just hearing about this San Francisco 17th game? Because that's one of the 5 stadiums I need to hit.
Got it. That's one I got to get to.
So when did this come about? How did I miss this?
We had the 17th game.
We came in last. Yes, I think that's one of the ones, the crossover we got to get.
I'm not complaining. Let's go.
Yeah.
Except with California and their crazy laws right now. We better hope it's towards the end of the season, just in case everything's not opened back up early. Either that or I'm going to be a usher. I guess they won't need ushers if there's no fans. I'll be I don't know what I'll be, but I need to get there.
Well, James, let's go ahead and kick off, man, our big event tonight.
The Jimmies, and we got to thank Tom. Tom came up with the name. We know there's the ESPYs out there. There's the Grammys. But now we have the Jimmies. First ever show. Awarding. I mean, look at this hardware.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure we shout out our boy Dalton.
Yeah, Richard, just to be clear, we're going to be showing a lot of graphics tonight. And this one right here and everything else you're going to see from now until the next 5 or 6 minutes before the show is over with. Richard Dalton, West Coast, Seattle area. Had beers with him in Seattle before James and I had beers with him in Seattle before the Bengals game against Seattle here a few years ago. One of the nicest dudes you ever want to meet, and make sure you follow this guy. He does some amazing work, man, just absolutely amazing work. And Dalton, I know you're watching right now. Our fingers are crossed. We know what we're talking about right now, brother. Good luck in everything that happens for you, buddy. But we appreciate you, man. It means a lot. You're part of the Bengals family on social media.
Unbelievable artwork. We appreciate him doing that. And in addition to that cool trophy, all of these Bengals players that are going to take home the hardware tonight get a game-used Bengal Jim sweaty hat autographed that I'm sure they're probably going to put up to their nice football. So Jamie's going to kind of lead this portion and direct us which way we're going to go. And I think, is there 6 or 7 of them, Jamie, that we're going to award tonight?
We have 6 awards. Let's start off with
the first ever inaugural
offensive MVP. Tom, you want to announce this one? I'll put it up.
Tom is on the spot. It's over here in the chat on the side. For our
my chat is blank, and I was told I was doing defense, but the Jimmie goes to Tyler Boyd. Well deserved. Gutsy, the best slot receiver in the NFL.
You know, I think what we saw was just a breakout season from Tyler Boyd. Obviously, we brought AJ back on a big contract this year. Underperformed because of injury, because of whatever. And Tyler Boyd stepped up in huge game after huge game. And I think he's well deserving. Jimmie, everything.
Hey, look, Tyler Boyd, like Tom just made it, the best slot receiver in the NFL. That guy's legit.
You know, first, second round pick out of Pitt, you know, was a great compliment. And I think we just saw the breakout year. And I think we can expect even bigger things in 2021, another, year of being familiar with Joe Burrow.
Early in the year, really had chemistry with Joe Burrow.
Yep.
like Jim Turner is gone, just said. But with he and T having that kind of chemistry, it's going to help anybody else along. And if they get another super stud wide receiver, you can't cover them all.
That's right.
Now, all right, we're going to go into our next one, and I'm going to let James run with this one.
All right, Rookie of the Year. I think if you rewind 9 months ago after we took Mr. Burrow number 1 overall, we would have said, okay, man, this is a slam dunk. Joe Burrow, probably going to lead the league. Rookies going to certainly lead the team. This is money in the bank. Obviously, it didn't happen that way. Unfortunate injury for Joe in Washington shortened his career, and instead, we had this wide receiver, 2 wide receivers with our first award. T. Higgins goes out and gets 67 receptions, ties with Bengal great Chris Collinsworth, 908 yards and 6 touchdowns. So we saw the reception in the last game. Unfortunately, T got hurt, or else he would have broke Chris Collinsworth's record. So this is obviously a no-brainer. But the one thing to keep in mind, 908 yards for T. Higgins in 2020, 123 yards short of A.J. Green's record as a rookie of 1,031 yards. But along those lines, keep in mind, T had no receptions in the first game against the Chargers, got the ball thrown to him once the last game against the Ravens. So all he had to average was, give or take, 61.5 yards those 2 games, and he would have beat A.J. Green's rookie record. So I think we're all in agreement. Tom, feel free to chime in. It was a heck of a rookie performance out of T. Higgins.
He's got all the talent in the world. He's not afraid to go over the middle. He's got great footwork. He's got Chad-like footwork on the sidelines and incredible speed down the field. So, and he really, really stepped up once Tyler Boyd was hurt. Unfortunately, right when Joe got hurt, he was developing the same kind of chemistry with him. So, the sky's the limit for this guy. He's a legitimate number 1.
Dude, the future is freaking bright. I'm telling you, this is exciting stuff.
All right, so what would an award be without a little bit of controversy? So we're going into our 3rd award, which is our Hard Luck Award, and we have a tie. And we want our fans watching to tell us in the chat who should get the edge for hard luck. Now, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, James, define for us the Hard Luck Award. There's 2 players. We have 4 guys on the screen. We split this decision here, guys.
I mean, the hard luck is pretty self-explanatory. Just, was poised to have a great year. It didn't happen. In this instance, both of these gentlemen were due to injury. The 2 finalists, CJ Uzomah, who we lost in the Cleveland game, had a great start, touchdown reception. A friend of the show was on the show earlier in the year. And, of course, Joe Burrow, who I mentioned, who we would have thought would have won the Rookie of the Year, Offensive MVP, you name it. And unfortunately, we saw him go down in Washington. So this is your time. We want you, the fans, to break our gridlock tie here between the 4 stooges here.
Yeah, so I lean towards Uzomah. Partially because we had the poor guy on the show. He was so excited for the season, and then we literally watched him get carted off in the first game?
Second
game in Cleveland.
Thursday night.
I don't think I won't speak for you guys, but I unfortunately wasn't surprised to see Burrow have some hard luck with the offensive line that was in charge of protecting them. So this is why I lean towards Uzomah, especially having him on the show and seeing just how freaking excited he was. My heart sank when I watched him cart out the field because, again, we had him on the show and just hearing just how pumped up he was and excited for the future and excited for the season.
And how hard he worked in the off season. What's crazy, if you're Jamie, I'm gonna make sure I understand it. So on Facebook, if they're on Facebook right now viewing us, they only see the Facebook feed, right? The chat feed on Facebook. And we
on the screen,
and we see everything combined, and it looks like you guys are just as split as us on this thing right now.
It's pretty split. We got some Burrows, we got some CJs, Burrow, CJ, Burrow, CJ.
You got a house divided there with Luke and his other half.
Tiffany says wouldn't mind keeping it a tie.
Yeah, we might have to be. Let's go on to the next one, but we may have to. This may have to be a tie. Just to let you know, I scheduled post about all these things at 9:00. Every minute from 9:00 on, people are seeing this stuff right now on our social media platforms. But we're doing it live right now. Come on.
All right, Jimmie, why don't you go defensive MVP?
Oh man, go ahead and put him up there, man. This dude right here was completely robbed of a Pro Bowl appearance. The best safety in the NFL. Total popularity contest. Jesse Bates, big dog, you are the man. You should be starting in that Pro Bowl. You're the best safety in the NFL. This guy was rated as one of the best, the absolute best safeties by Pro Football Focus statistically, week in and week out, and finished the season that way as well. Dude, I mean, when we're talking about all of our young, exciting players and people are down on this team, guys, we have a great foundation. We get some guys back healthy and build and have a good free agency and nail a draft. Guys, we're back in the playoffs next year, guys. I'm excited. Jesse Bates is one of those reasons, guys.
Second round's been good to us. There's another, we talked about T in the second round, Jesse Bates, another second round pick out of Wake Forest, I believe. So hopefully we can carry that over here in 2021 draft. Tom?
Hey, just to let you know real quick before we get Tom's comment on Jesse, your vote for CJ or Joe counts once, no matter how many times you posted in the chat area, Craig Johnson.
That's pretty good. That's good. You know, with Jesse Bates, from a historical standpoint, you look at the great Tommy Casanova from back in the 70s and all he brought to the Bengals, and the Pro Bowl and the All-Pro. And then you had David Fulcher, to a degree, redefining the safety position in the 80s and becoming one of the dominant defensive players in the NFL. Jesse Bates has every bit the talent and the drive to be the best Bengal safety of all time. If fixing the coaching staff to the best that they can, they got off to a great start with Frank Pollock, doing well in free agency again, knocking it out of the park at the draft. That's the first part of the offseason. Before camp ends, they've got to extend Jesse Bates. He's special.
Yep. Agree.
Just to let you guys know, our software actually asked me if I wanted to kick Craig from the chat for Craig, I didn't kick him.
Put him in timeout. Put him in timeout, Jamie.
All right, who wants to run with the best moment? The Jimmie for the best moment.
Jimmie's gonna do that. And my vote didn't make it, but Sleuth Jimmie with his iPhone up on the bridge, first practice of the year, getting the first ever Joe Burrow pass. That was what I voted for, but I got overruled.
Yeah, I got in a little trouble for that one. So yeah, I did get the first pass from Joe Burrow to AJ Green in practice. It was pretty exciting. Yeah. But the best moment. Now we had a bunch of stuff on the list here, guys. Right? Joe Burrow's first touchdown, that rushing touchdown against the Chargers. All these different things. His touchdown to CJ up in Cleveland was awesome. He threw 60-something. All these different things that happened. But guys, we all unanimously voted on the Monday Night Football game against those dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers, the absolute butt whooping that destroyed this Pittsburgh Steelers season. Cleveland should be thanking us that they thumped the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they were never the same after that thumping on Monday night here at Paul Brown Stadium. So to us for the best moment in the 2020 season, during the season, was absolutely the Monday night game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys.
And go ahead, Jamie.
Well, I was going to say, the only thing that I regret, because I know me and James are on the same page with Zach Taylor, I said at the start of the season, I don't care if Zach loses every freaking game, as long as we beat the Steelers. He can stay.
And along those lines, we've struggled in primetime. It's no secret. So to win like we did, without our starter, the Ginger Genius Part 2, Ryan Finley, leading us on Monday night, that's big. I mean, it kind of, hopefully we got that primetime monkey off our back, and yeah, that was an exciting night. What do you think, Tom?
It certainly put an exclamation point on the Steelers' free fall, but it also showed, this is a team with heart. I really think it cemented Zach coming back because they played so hard. They played with such heart the whole game, and they bullied the Steelers. And it's hopefully that game will be as we go forward in a couple of years talking about a Super Bowl team and next year a playoff team. I think that's the game we're going to point to and say that's where the ship started to get righted.
Yep.
Rigo said he almost cried. Dude, I cried, brother. That was awesome. Like, we beat the Steelers in prime time. It was awesome.
Now we want another Monday night game next year, please, NFL. If Jimmie doesn't piss him off, we'll maybe get another one.
Speaking of the Steelers, I'm sure you guys watched with glee that they lost the game. I don't think Ben's coming back. Did you guys see the end? See the end when they showed him on that? He looked like he just saw.
I don't want to talk about that clown.
Saying, he ain't coming back. It's over. That era is over.
You know what the bad thing is about the Steelers losing? They lost to the Browns.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Great moment. The absolute number one moment in 2020. Bengals winning a Monday Night Football here at Paul Brown Stadium.
Yes. What do we got left, Jamie?
We have left our People's Champ.
People's Champ. I've been waiting all night.
I don't think we're gonna get a lot of people agreeing with us on this, but I don't care.
Hey, well, I can tell you who's not going to win it. My buddy Zach Taylor, my buddy Lou, nor my buddy Jim Turner. So the People's Champ, is a fan favorite. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. I'm just going to hold this up here, and the 2020 Jimmie for the People's Champ goes to the one and only Fat Randy.
And I wish we would have found a better picture of the pout, the little belly sticking out a little bit more. He's kind of sucking it in right there, James.
Yeah, that's not a good representation of our man who
Dalton like with his exact. Dalton did some outstanding work to make him look good, man. Dalton went out of his way. Look, man, I'm telling you, man, if somebody didn't hire this guy right here.
Tuck.
Yeah. Dalton did some work on Fat Randy's tummy there, but we joke about Fat Randy, but I'm telling you, legitimately, we love Fat. We love Fat Randy.
It's a fan favorite. Who doesn't? Who disagrees with my vote? Feel free to type it in the chat. But
be Andy Dalton. He just rubbed the one out.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I don't know, man.
That's just
we're not fat. We're not fat shaming. We're just saying Fat Randy.
So thank you to Dalton for that wonderful artwork. Jimmie's crying, having to give up all of those hats that he's going to have to autograph and present to the Bengals players. And yeah, first ever, the inaugural Jimmie's, and look forward to next year for round 2.
All right, we got you're getting some heat in the chat here for the Fat Randy vote. We're getting
put on a practice squad. Darren Simmons just gave him a couple games off.
He did.
Buddy Anthony saying, "What the hell, man?"
Now see, Tony, I didn't say MVP. I said People's Champ. The word MVP never came out of my mouth.
Justin says People's Champ should be Von Bell.
Dude, we messed this up, James. We messed this up.
Keep it coming. Let's go. Let's hear this feedback. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Good big shoulders.
We got Carmen says agree. Fat Randy.
Yes, there you go.
As she's floating around the Caribbean somewhere. God bless her. I'm so jealous.
Oh man.
So
yeah. See. Look, man. Look, hey. We had fun. We were literally going to make this an annual award. So this stuff had just got I scheduled this stuff about 4:00. The schedule's posting at 9, 9:01, 9:02, 9:03. And we tagged all the players in it. So I'm sure they're going to be sending us messages waiting for this damn award. We're going to have to go down to Paul Brown Stadium and hand them this
with our mask on. Yeah, it's going to be
Fat Randy?
Huh?
You tagged Fat Randy?
I tagged every player that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Hey, Fat Randy. He's a friend of the show. He won't come on the show, but he's a friend of the show.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, Tom. He has
love.
some issue. He has some issue with Tom. I don't know. Fat Randy doesn't like Tom for some reason.
I'm all for Fat Randy till he started missing.
Oh, he missed one field goal.
Can I stick up for James real quick?
Oh, Jesus.
Never, ever, ever has MVP and Randy Bullock been in the same sentence James has spoken? Whether it be, texting, emailing, or on the show.
But Tom, let's be real. He insinuated that he was the MVP. He didn't say it, but you could kind of tell the way he was talking about it.
I'm going to shock everybody. James doesn't even like Randy.
It's like saying the name Fat Randy. That's it.
What's funnier than hell, the stadium is being empty this year, and every game we went to, either home game or away, we sat right next to the Bengals tunnel. And every time he came out, even in Miami, we were down in Miami with James and Houston, we were yelling Fat Randy. He would just look out of the corner of his eyes like it's that same damn voice as I hear every game.
So excited to get down to the warm Miami, away from those chants and tears.
I think those T-shirts are going to be collector items because I think we're going to have a new kicker next year.
Yeah, you're probably right.
See, we got to get every last ounce of Fat Randy jokes and love we can out of it. So thank you again, Dalton. We appreciate that. It's pretty.
Dear
cool.
the man, we did not ask Dalton to do that. He went out of his way and did this. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. This will be something we do on a regular basis, on an annual basis. The inaugural Jimmie's just went out. We appreciate it, and the players are very excited. They're going to go and they're going to be talking about this tomorrow during their press conferences.
Jesse Bates gets snubbed by the NFL. He does not get snubbed by us.
Yep, we're for real. So let's go ahead and close this out, guys. We're a little over again, but hell not. You know what? This is an action-packed show here for an hour and 15 minutes. It's been fun. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with Jamie. Jamie, go ahead and close this out, buddy.
All I'm with asking you guys a question. I mean, obviously our Bengals are not in it. I don't believe in the whole having a second team thing and all that stuff. But who you got? Who you got to win the Super Bowl?
Who do we want to win, or who do we think's going to win?
Who are you cheering for? I'm going to go with the Bills. They're my local team. But I feel a connection with the Bills. The Bills are the only stadium away game that I've been able to go to where I've actually had the fans come up and offer me beers and high five me and be friendly to me because we put them in the playoffs a couple years ago. So I have a lot of friends up here in Ontario, up in Canada. They're all Bills fans up here. I'm happy for them. I'd like to see the Bills take it. I don't think they're going to. I didn't see much in that game that would make me think they're going to go all the way, but I'd like to see the Bills go all the way. We'll see.
Tom?
I'm with Jamie on that one. I'll pull for Buffalo. They're an AFL, in their infancy, just like the Bengals. Small market, pretty much ignored. If the big markets talk about them, it's when they're down. They've got a great young quarterback. I think they're running into an absolute buzzsaw this weekend against Baltimore. But if any team could do it, I would like to see the Bills do it.
I was going to say Buffalo, as I grew up just a short drive from there, but I'm going to change gears a little bit. We already saw this team with a big upset last week going into Seattle and taking the win. Our boy Andrew Whitworth coming back from that bad injury at left tackle. And Sean McVay, I mean, I know Zach Taylor sat in the same room with him at a Hardee's once. That's why he got the job here. But kudos to
that's not true.
Oh, it's a Burger
He swam
King.
in his pool.
That's
swam
right.
in his pool one weekend.
James drives me to drink, man.
But that was a big win in Seattle, and I'm not a Packers fan at all. So hopefully they go in and take care of the Packers. And again, I like to see Andrew Whitworth get a ring. Remember that time we decided to keep Drake Kirkpatrick over Andrew Whitworth? Just another great front office move. But anyways, the long answer to your question, Jamie, is the Rams.
Well, I'll close this damn thing out. I'm not rooting for anybody. All I can tell you is this. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, have some beers, hopefully with the boys and some friends. And all I'm rooting for is the city up north to get absolutely trounced this weekend, 63 to freaking 0. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl at this point. The Patriots are not in it. The Bengals aren't in it. Gosh damn it. The city up north needs to lose this week, 63 to absolutely nothing, period. Dash all hopes for these clowns up north. That's
that
my
game won't even be close. It won't.
Well,
thanks, Jimmy. Now we'll never get anybody from the national media on again.
Yeah. Well, let me close this damn thing out. Damn. That's a tough question, Jamie. I can't root for any other team. I don't care who it is. I'm not rooting for the Bills.
I made it very clear saying not rooting for, but who do you like to see go all the way?
No, nobody. I'm ready for just move on to next year at this point. As long as the city up north gets absolutely destroyed. So let me close this thing out. So, guys, one thing I failed to mention here: we had a call live to the Hall of Fame last week, if you remember. Might have had a few bourbons before I made that call. I don't know, but I got a call back. I got a call. I didn't tell these guys. I didn't leave my number on that call when I did the actual live call to them. I sent an email, left another message after the show. Sure enough, I get a phone call. There's a very good chance next week we have a very high-level representative from the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the show next week. I'm supposed to get a call by the end of this week to confirm that. I had a 20-minute conversation. So just to let you know, there's hope for that next week. Just to let you know, I even forgot to tell these guys on the screen.
Yeah,
that would be fun. Thanks again to helping out our charity duck race, $575 for companions on a journey. Just a great local charity. I'm having so much fun with this, guys, and you guys are just making a huge impact for every charity we target on this damn thing. It's awesome. And remember the squares, we're going to sell 100 squares. When we get this up and running and rolling, we'll kind of roll it out, but that will be the February 2nd show, the Tuesday before the Super Bowl show. Pretty excited about that. And if you remember, on the 2nd, we got that Super Bowl 16 special. Chris Collinsworth, Pete Johnson, Ken Anderson, Gary Burley, Dave Lapham, Pat McAnally. Guys, it's going to be a crazy show into the season show for us. We got our guy Sean Moore, fan of the year by the NFL and the Bengals, on next week. We have that crazy Steelers fan, and somehow his towel got to TJ Houshmandzadeh on the field after the game, and TJ kind of shined his shoes with. You're not going to believe the story tied to this. I did not know this story until this week. We got a hold of that fan from Pittsburgh who was a Steelers fan. I'm going to have a damn Steelers fan on next week. We're going to be respectful to him, but I want you guys to hear this story in the conversation at halftime between him and Marvin Lewis and how that all went down. Great story I've never heard before. Prayers and thoughts with Troy Richards, still in the hospital. Sounds like he's gradually getting a little bit better, which is really cool to see. And guys, it means a lot. Everybody tuning in. Thanks, everybody. The Jimmies was a lot of fun tonight. We did tag all the players. If you on social media want to go on to Twitter and Facebook, or Twitter specifically, and tag these guys and Instagram, I'll do that later. Make sure you congratulate the players, man. And it helps us maybe get some of these guys on the show down the road as well. And there may be rumors, and these guys on the screen don't know this. There may be rumors potentially about new uniforms somewhere down the road here very shortly. There may be rumors about potentially a Ring of Honor. I don't know where these things are coming from. I just maybe heard these things are being discussed a little bit more seriously than we ever would have thought.
All because we have been pounding the Ring of Honor for 39 episodes here on Bengal Gyms.
And when we say we're talking about everybody that's watching us. I mean, everybody.
The players. What's the one thing a lot of these players said? They don't feel they got the respect.
Yep. Every single player that we had on had been an old school player. So Tom Justin, I got one more question before we get off air here. In 1987, approximately how many wins did the Bengals have?
4.
How many wins do we have this year?
3.5,
right? Close, right? 3.5. So,
a tie is
guys,
a loss.
3.5 wins. We'll call it 3.5 wins. Guys, I'm telling you, if we can get these guys back healthy, and if we can absolutely do what we did last year in free agency, kill this draft, guys, I'm telling you, we're going to do a live remote from the Super Bowl next year. Jamie's going to come in from Canada. I'm going to go drive the bus up and pick him up. Where's the Super Bowl next year? Is it Miami? I mean, it's in Tampa this year, wherever. I'm telling you, no joke. We got a great foundation with our Jimmies that we just talked about. These players, we got a great foundation. We're not that far away, guys. Let's nail this free agency, this draft, and get these guys back healthy, and we're ready to roll next year. Thank you so much for viewing. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Hoo day.
Good day.